In this video, we'll briefly cover the steps on how to set up the Pro 700 for prescription tillage with AFS Soil Command. Our first step is to take our USB with our prescription that we've previously created, loaded onto it, and insert it into the display. And then we'll key on the machine. Once our display is booted up, then we'll go through our precision farming setup. We'll do a complete setup here using the Wizards function that's now available on the Pro 700. It just makes our setup process much simpler. One thing to keep in mind is we need to make sure that we choose yes to enable prescription control. And we'll just continue to follow the steps in the setup wizard. When we get to the page regarding implement measurements and product delay, we likely won't need to change anything in the measurements. Those come from the UCM. However, we may need to change product delay so that implement depth changes when the prescription demands it to. Typically, a product delay of 1 to 3 seconds works pretty well, though you may have to do some trial and error with this once you get it in the field. Also ensure that the products that come through with your prescription have the correct product form for depth or crumbler pressure. And then you can also set up the product defaults for minimum and max values and delta rate. Once we've completed the setup in the full setup wizard, we can go into the daily operation wizard to select our prescription or prescriptions to be assigned for our tillage tool. You can also go into performance RX setup to do this as well. After we've selected our prescriptions in the daily setup wizard, we can go over to our map and actually view the prescriptions just to ensure that they've loaded correctly. Keep in mind you may have to adjust the data style so that it is in color and shows up on the display, and you may have to adjust the legend for the data as well. The final step in the process now is to go into our Soil Command interface, turn it on to enable Soil Command, push the RX button to enable prescription control, and you can see in the depth and crumbler pressure control windows there is actually a prescription toggle switch. It goes on by default when you hit RX, but we can toggle it on or off as necessary. And that completes the setup for Soil Command on the Pro 700 display.